The population of Quincy is over 24% Asian American. How should the administration further address the need for Quincy's first responders, police, fire, and ambulance, to communicate with residents with limited English proficiency in emergency and other situations?
Sure, thank you. I've actually talked to Police Chief Keenan in regards to this to get a better understanding, and I do understand that there's a lot of different dialects with the diverse community that we have, but they do have interpretive services. I think that there's an opportunity to make improvements to that with the City of Quincy through all of our communication channels. For example, whether it's the city website is information that we're putting out, you can have the technology to make these interpreters so they're able to better communicate. I think there is a lot more opportunity for Quincy to do better by that, but from what I'm understanding from the police chief directly himself, that their current policy is working.
Ms. Danny? You're up.
Sorry, I don't know if you said again. So thank you for asking this question. I think it's important that it's something that we continue to talk about and address from all levels. Our first responders are phenomenal across the board, whether it's with the ambulance, with the fire, or with the police. Our first responders are top of the line, and they're always putting themselves out there to help anyone, regardless of what your background is. That being said, language is a barrier and it has posed problems for folks. And simply hiring somebody that is on site that happens to speak another language is not going to be the one solution. My family, they speak Toisanese, but that's just one dialect. And so, like my fellow colleague said, there are a lot of different dialects. And even when you do speak it fluently, you have to make sure that there are professionals on site to provide those translation services. I've used translation services for my younger sister for medical reasons, and just because I understand what's going on does not mean that I'm a professional translator. That's important because you need to have an unbiased, very clear translation for the person that is speaking as well as the person that's receiving that information. I've worked directly with Corey, with members in Corey, and with the mayor's office in discussing having professional translation services and not just somebody that happens to speak the language. And that's the direction we need to continue to move in, create more funding for those positions in order to solve this problem long term. Thank you.
Ms. Mahoney?
Thank you very much. This is an issue that is very concerning. My parents are seniors, and it can be hard when something emergency happens and somebody has to come to their home. I can't imagine the fear it must be to have somebody come when you don't speak your language. The issues are very clear. We need to have more bilingual people who work in the city of Quincy, both in the fire and the police. We should make sure that when we're hiring people, that's one of our qualifications that we have. When we're hiring people for the fire and police, and even with our emergency responders for the ambulance, we want to make sure that they also have bilingual speakers that are being able to come to those homes. The reality is very simple. We have 24% of people who do not speak our language fluently in the city of Quincy, and we want to make sure that you feel safe in your own homes and that we're able to help you should your need arise. So to do that, on your city council, I'll be sure when we are in a hiring phase for fire and police, that we're making sure that we're bringing in people who can speak the language that can service our community to the best of your advantages. I really do think that it's something that we need to start doing as soon as possible. We've waited for a long time, and your community has waited for a long time. We don't have enough of them on our fire and police. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Money?
Thank you. We all know how important it is for police, fire, and EMTs to respond to accidents or any personal emergencies that may happen in anyone's home. We know how critically important time is. And when you add to that any language barriers or lack of communication that may exist at that point of contact with the individual, and you can see how serious that situation is. Public safety has always been a top priority for me. That's why I'm proud to work with our police officers to make our neighborhoods safer, and I'm very proud to wear the distinction of being an honorary firefighter in the city of Quincy, being appointed by Quincy firefighters. So I know the importance of safety. I know the importance of being able to effectively communicate with a patient. And we need to do a better job as a municipality in doing that. Our police and fire are civil servants, and the mayor can't ask for a civil service list that has an Asian communication skill to it. So we need to do a better job in upgrading our communication skills at police and fire. We do contract with our ambulance service, and perhaps the next round of contracting, we can mandate that they have the ability to communicate with every aspect of the diversity of this great city. So I appreciate the questions, one that we need to do better. Thank you.
When I collected signatures to repeal a gas tax that was tyrannical, I did not think that I was doing it just for one class or race of people. I was doing it for everybody, all Americans, all citizens in Massachusetts. And when I work, if I get elected, I will be working for all citizens regardless. Now, there is a language barrier, I understand, and it makes sense that if you're going into an area, sending EMTs to at least appoint somebody to go along that can speak the language. And so I would work on legislation to try to make sure that there are people hired from among all of the languages, areas that are predominant, and go into that area. So I do understand the importance of civil service. We do need to maintain our community, and that is one of the main things. Also education, but that's another subject. Thank you.
Thank you. Pass that to Mr. DeVito.
I want to speak a little bit about something that the other candidates didn't talk about. This is a great opportunity for your grandchildren, sons and daughters to be involved with becoming a Quincy police officer, a Quincy firefighter, or an EMT person. We can use resources that we have in the city like Quarry and Quincy Asian Resources that the mayor's office has in Betty Dow. You can educate our children to become these translators that we're all talking about, the bilingual part. This is an opportunity for the Asian community, the 24% of the population in Quincy, to become these first responders. This is an opportunity for us to educate, and I will facilitate, I will help in the process of doing that. And that's what it's about, is finding out where this can be, whether it be through a website, whether it be through a mailing, or whether we go door to door like we are knocking on doors. For the last 6 months, I've been out there since April knocking on doors. I've lost 25 pounds in the process because I care about what all of you want. And if this is an area that we need to specialize in and we need to get more of, then I will do that. And we have some police officers that are Asian, that are bilingual, that help out our community and very, very good in the community. We've got to continue that, and it's all through networking, and it's all through communication. All of you speaking to us, and me speaking to all of you. Thank you.
Please hold your thoughts. So now to question number 2.